Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we're going to be changing out the camshaft follower, also known as the teppet. This is a preventative maintenance item that people look over a lot. If you're not regular on your oil changes, this can get gunked up from your camshaft because every time that camshaft spins, the top of the lobe will spin this little bearing here, pushing it up towards the fuel pump, allowing that spring in the fuel pump to compress up and down, giving you the high pressure fuel. This video will also be beneficial to those that want to change out their fuel pump entirely. It's going to be the same exact step. Just take off and put back on. This little guy sits right underneath your fuel pump. If you realize the fuel pump starting to make ticking noises, it's getting a lot louder than normal or usual, then I'm pretty sure this is your culprit. When I pull out the other one that's already in the car, I'll show you guys that noise that it makes. This one, it's not ticking as bad, but the other one, you'll see once we remove it from the car. The owner was complaining it's making little noise, so we're gonna go ahead and change it. Start by unplugging your fuel pump. I like to remove cylinder 6 because we have to remove this hose line over here, and I don't want to mess up this cable here, so just remove cylinder 6 for now. Start by removing the first fuel line here in the very front. It's held on by 3 17mm nuts. Just get a ratchet and pop it open. There will be fuel spraying out, but it's okay. The system has pressure. Just crack those two. Get a rag and put it underneath the fuel pump. Out of the way. And do the line behind the fuel pump. And once they're loose, you can literally just pop it out of place. There's the first one. There's the second. And the third. And the last one. And now this fuel line, it's clipped in right here. Just put your finger underneath and pull up. Be careful because it will spill some fuel from the line. Clean up any fuel that might have dropped in the engine, and then move this line out of the way for now. On the fuel pump, there's 2 T30 screws. You have to be very gentle in removing them. Just make sure you go evenly. 2 turns on this one, then go to the next one, 2 turns, and then slowly make it come out of the car. Don't just take in one bolt out at a time. It'll mess up the spring inside, and you don't want that. Just slowly take this fuel pump off. Crack the first one and crack the second one. So 2 turns each. 1, 2. 1, 2. And once it's about loose, the screws are finger tight loose, you can just use the extension and get behind those screws. And here's that first T30. Put it somewhere safe. And here's that second one. And this beautiful fuel pump. Just pull it out slowly upwards. See this spring right here? This is what compresses up and down. If you're having any issues there, the fuel is not going to have enough pressure. So change this. If anybody's wondering the part number, here it is. Clean rag. And just wipe off anything that might be inside right here. This will also be the perfect time to change out this gasket right here. This one still seems good, but this gasket, you can just peel it off and put the new one on. It's very simple. So this will be the perfect time. I'll also link the part number for that as well. So the camshaft follower sits right inside. Let me see if I can show you guys with the camera. All right, so that camshaft follower sits right inside underneath the fuel pump. And if you're wondering how we're gonna get to that, you don't put your finger in and pull it out. Don't do that. All you need is a simple magnet. You can get this magnet on Amazon. I've had this for many years. I've gone fishing many times with it. So it fits perfectly in that hole. It doesn't touch the cylinder walls. It doesn't touch anything besides the camshaft follower. And here it is. Oh yeah, look at that. I don't know if you can see on the bearing, but you can see it's not good. I can feel, yeah, you can feel it with your fingernail. Let me see if it'll make that noise. All right, I'll sweat. You ready? That sound familiar, ladies and gentlemen? Tick, 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 tick. Get close to the mic. There it is. And then if you come compare the new one with the old one, you can see how this one, I hope you can see it on camera, but this one has just marks all over it. This one is just brand new. Just put some oil on there. There we go. And how you put it back. So with the fuel pump, this guy sits right over here, and every time your camshaft spins, it touches on this guy. So please change this. The same way you took that one out, the same way this one is going to go in. Just literally set it in place. Oh, let me show you so you guys don't freak out. It can only go in one way. See this little tooth right here on the side by my thumb? On the other side there isn't. And if you come look over here, right inside, you'll see that groove. So trust me, there is no way to put this in backwards. For reference, the groove is downwards. Just set it in there. Spin it. Sorry. And there you go. Simple as can be. Now we can put this one for memories. And now my favorite words. We do everything backwards. Take your fuel pump. Slowly, gently set it in there. Be super gentle with these screws. The same way you took it out, same way it's going to go back in. One side 2 turns, the other side 2 turns until it's fully seated, and then you can tighten it down. So just do a few turns with your finger to where it goes in nice and smooth and it's actually grabbing onto the threads. And then do the other side. With these screws, I like to finger tighten them until they're sitting flush against this plate right here on both sides. This way I know when I'm using the tool to tighten it, it's not cross threading, it's not doing anything crazy. I know it's just going in very smoothly. It's turning in and out. I'll just turn it by finger until it sits just flush against this plate right here like that. Same for the other side. And then start using that tool. This is my car. I have the stage 2 Dorch high pressure fuel pump. This will be a lot easier too. The same thing applies. You guys know, just took these 2 screws and then this bottom plate screw, pop out, same thing applies. So if you have a Dorch, it's the same thing. Now that we're set there, go ahead and use your tool. 2 turns, 1, 2. Okay, that bottom one, that back one is tight. Perfect, 2 turns each. Guys, I know it takes a while. Be patient. This is your fuel system. And that one is tight. When you first open these screws, feel how tight it is. It's not really that much. So when you're going to tight, don't torque it to 1,000,000 pounds. Once again, just good and tight, as they like to say. And that thing is good to go. When we start the car, we're going to come back. Make sure that there's no leaks anywhere around that fuel pump and that gasket is still good to go. Start with this back fuel line. Can you come from up here? Line it up where it's supposed to go. And take this 17mm nut. Just tighten it back on the fuel pump. Now we put back the fuel line. You want to start with your fuel pump. Just touch onto it underneath this guy here for the second one. And make sure those 2 line up first. Like that. Click it in place. And once they're lined up, you can see that. You see this is perfectly okay. 17mm, look, it's just spinning freely. So don't fight this. If it's not turning comfortably, back up. Look, see? I'm doing it with 1 finger. Look. Nice and simple, guys. These things don't have to be complicated. That's it. And now we tighten the 17. Once again, good and tight, not too much. Yep. The last 2 are the ones that are on the fuel pump itself. Good and tight. Just 1 more click. Boom. There we go. Please don't forget, push back in your 6-cylinder, the coil pack, plug back in your fuel pump, The first time you start the car, it's gonna hesitate because there's no more fuel pressure. So give it a few times, try to restart it, and then once it starts, it'll go back to normal. Now you check for any leaks underneath that fuel pump. Make sure there's nothing coming from underneath or around it. Make sure there's no fuel coming out of your fuel rail. All the connection points, you have one, and then the second one, make sure that it's good, nothing's coming out of there. By the fuel pump, come over here, and then from the back side. Oh, that's just from earlier. Perfect. There you guys go. And that's how you install a camshaft follower on any B58, and this applies to so many other cars, the N63, the N55. This applies to all those other cars because if you use the fuel pump, there is a follower underneath it. The tools are very basic, just they need a 17mm and a T30 with an extension. In 20 minutes of your time and you can knock this out, save $500 from going to a shop. Alrighty guys, I hope that helps somebody. Until next time, take it easy. Peace.
That's not good. Alright. You guys need to open up. Take a step back. Take a step back. He wants to go for it. Alright, we need to make sure we catch that on video. There you go. Alright, you gotta do 3 reps. Ready? Go.